Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to episode 96 of the Guardian Up podcast, where we talk Destiny and our love of the game. And we occasionally bring on guests, but tonight we just have your lovely co-hosts. There's Des Raven, there's Sin, and there's Kingsley Mac. How you guys doing?
Magical as always. Des, are you magical as well?
I am doing fairly magically.
Almost magically delicious?
Some would say.
On a scale of 1 to magical or 0 to magical. I mean, if Sin's magical, it's got to be a 10 each time.
Right?
A 10. What about you,
a 10.
I don't think we ever ask you. How are you doing?
I mean, no one needs to hear about me. No, I'm doing good. Good enough. I've been super busy with work compared to how I normally am. I'm sure you obviously are way busier than me, Sin, but let me tell you, this last couple of weeks has been a little crazy for me. Just a lot of emergencies and people moving offices all at the same time. You know, that type of crap that, you know, when you do work as a freelance, some weeks you'll have nothing, and then all the emergencies come on the same day instead of being spread out.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah. But fun enough stuff other than just, what's the word? Like, there's like eustress and de-stress. Something about like different stress types. You know, this is stressful stuff, but it's good stress. You know, it's like work fun stuff that I enjoy doing.
Much better than mine.
Yeah,
mine's just stressful.
Right?
End of month again?
End of month, long hours, not hitting the numbers we need, which sucks.
Oh, man.
You know how that goes. Yeah, that's only downfall of the car business. If you don't hit your numbers, you don't make as good of money as you can.
Well, I mean, that's makes sense, but do you also have potential of getting let go? That'd be the bigger worry. Okay, good.
We didn't do that bad. But yes, that potential is always there in the car business.
Oof.
I mean, but also at the same time, I mean, having come from at least the manufacturing end of automobile, like, their numbers are like freaking ridiculous anyway. I mean, because our like production schedule was 1,000 frames a day, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
For Mercedes, and Mercedes has never even sold what they expect. And it's like, why do you still have such high numbers if you don't even sell this many cars? But yeah, I don't know.
They want you. Doesn't mean they will.
Don't get me started on that road. Unrealistic expectations, sales. I hate it.
I mean, it's why I had to work like so many like freaking just weeks on end while I was freaking back in the day, because we didn't often make 1,000 frames a day. But
yeah, unrealistic expectations is accurate.
Oh man. Well, let's talk about some fun stuff. We're here to talk about Destiny or other games. We have
the Genshin podcast.
Yeah, we can. No, it's not the Genshin podcast. And we did have fun talking about that last episode. But yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about that briefly, go for it. I don't care. What's new? Sen, are you Genshining it?
I mean, I guess we talked a little bit beforehand, and I got my first, I guess, 4-star character using the wishes, and it's Noelle. And Des and I were talking a little bit about the Geo, I guess, is the element. Or
yes,
I guess that's what you would call it, an element. And how this defensive. And I've been just putzing around in the game, like messing with her. I had to level her up. That's one thing I didn't like, is the fact that you start from level 1 and you got to level the character all the way up to the max level.
Yep. Now imagine you're getting your characters into your 80s and you get this fresh new hotness at level 1 all over again.
That would have to be. I think my max level right now with where I'm at in the story is level 20.
Yeah. But no, I mean, that's always the downside of the gacha is, especially a newer one, like before. Because usually in their lifetime, things get easier to collect. But yeah, like starting off, it can be some really rough grinds to get the materials you need.
And I guess, spoiler alert, now I'm going to be having to go for level 80. Got it.
Well, how much can you pay for their version of the Spark of Light to level up your character?
I don't think
Oh,
there is such thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, right now, no.
Okay.
It's like it's interesting that Genshin does have such like high EXP items to use, because normally that kind of stuff gets rolled out slowly and like through time. But yeah, that and there's no telling if like 4 or 5 star, like, yeah, because I think 4 star is the most right now, but that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Because one of the gachas I'm playing, which is Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, when it came out, its highest stars were 5. Now they have went to 6 stars, 7 stars, and a system beyond 7 stars that they call Neovisions, which has 3 different levels all on their own. So yeah, things can get complicated in a gacha.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing Assassin's Creed some more in my slight downtime of not playing Destiny, and still enjoying it. So not much to report on it, but I mean, the story does keep going for a really, really long time. I've been impressed. I mean, Assassin's Creed games are often like this.
Yeah.
And yes, what they do is often somewhat repetitive, but they've done better this time than ever before of making each activity in the story a little bit different. You're often raiding castles, of course. This is like the idea of like the Norwegians, the Vikings coming to old England and helping team up with different territories or take over different territories. And you're often storming these castles, and it's not the same every time. Like one time you'll be using a battering ram, another time you'll be using like a trebuchet, another time you'll be, doing sneaking in some way. So it's kind of cool that they don't make it exactly the same.
Yeah. Slight variants.
Yeah. And of course the world, this is one of these things that huge open world. I always tell myself there's so much exploration. You could just have fun just chilling in one area, one little zone for hours and just say, I want to fully explore this area, appreciate the scenery, the streams, the rivers, the trees, whatever, look for all the little hidden collectibles, even the minor ones in an area, and just chill and have fun. And I haven't even gotten to that point yet because I've already spent like 30, 40 hours in the story, and I don't even know how close I am. I haven't bothered looking it up. So games like that are good.
I've read an interesting thing about this Assassin's Creed. More so of the fact that apparently there was a slight, not really debate or anything, but a questioning of like the canonical gender of the main character. Because apparently, according to Ubisoft marketing, both genders are canonical. Which is curious.
They have sorry, I'm trying to log into something here. They have like the last Assassin's Creed, you could do this too. You could pick, I think it was like brother and sister, and that's the case in this one again too. And you can pick the female or the male character. Yeah. But the storyline, you can switch back and forth, which is really interesting. So it kind of does make sense. And then there's the whole, also, I really like playing as the female character. I think it's interesting. I did that on the last one too. This one, I think the male character is a little better, but I've stuck with the female character for the most part. And then there's the fun things like where you get to like interact with someone, and it's just, it is what it is. No matter if you're a female or male, there's all sorts of people you can interact with, and hey, you want to hook up, or what I mean?
I know, right?
That, so. But it's done the story is done in a good way. I feel like they've done a really good job with it. So it's not just, it's hard to explain. It's not just done for sake. It seems to like make sense how it's working out.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And you play on PC, right?
No, I actually got that on Xbox, mostly just because I wanted to. I think I had some gift cards, and I wanted to have another game other than just Destiny, which we get through the Xbox All Access, or the Xbox Pass on the Xbox. I just wanted another game, so I'd be over there on that, and yeah, it's pretty good. Performance is really good, and the graphics are really good. So I figured,
why not?
Yeah, why not, right? Give you a chance to learn that controller a little bit better too, which I do like, other than not having the buttons on the back.
Yeah.
I need to find someone did send me because I found out, unfortunately, my Astro, my really high-end controller, which I use for PlayStation and PC, will not work on Xbox, unfortunately. I was just assuming it would. And so someone else sent another controller, like a cheaper, just wired one that has buttons on the back, looks like good quality one. So I'll probably just get that for the Xbox. If I don't know, we'll see. I mean, this all kind of relates to, I haven't been playing Destiny on Xbox as much as I thought I would, and that's fine. I knew going into this, I would only do it if the money was right and everything. And we're still waiting to see when crossplay is coming, as we kind of expected, not till later in the year. I don't even know why people were starting to hear rumors that it was coming this next season, and then Bungie did confirm later in the year again, for crossplay. So depending on all that, when crossplay comes, will kind of depend on what I do, how often I'm on my Xbox, I suppose.
Yeah, probably has to do with like certain news sources and such putting out speculations that are being taken a little weird, because I noticed not long ago, DMG had a tweet like warning people to check their news source, like not to basically be fooled by headlines, and to follow Bungie and Bungie Help for their news. But then somebody on Twitter pointed out, it's like, but you're neither Bungie or Bungie Help. Should we listen to you?
Well, I know, good point. Touche. But hopefully at least he would have to correct what he said if something was wrong. Bungie would then tell him that's wrong. Yeah. Now, what about something that I forgot about that didn't Bungie say was coming somewhat soonish with the next couple seasons? Or was this just later in the year also? The universal ornaments, the transmog.
Oh, they may have said that they were shooting for a season.
Mm-hmm. I feel like
I'm wanting to say it might have been. I'm wanting to say it might have been that they were shooting for 13 or 14, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I want to say in the back of my mind that was sooner than fall, but I don't remember now.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's when they said they were shooting for it, but I don't think they gave a hard confirmation of it.
Okay, I just did a search. They may have. I should have done some research for the podcast, but supposedly there's some articles that says they said it's coming season 14. So that does confirm with what you were saying. Season after next.
Yeah.
Transmog is coming. So interesting. The one halfway through, but not in the fall, but not this next season. Season 14. You heard it here. Exclusive. No, we already knew that. All right. What else? What have you guys been doing in the game? Any interesting things, raiding, anything like that?
Well, other than work, no. I've actually been, I take that back. I've been logging in. I've been trying to complete my hunter because I haven't got him through the Beyond Light campaign. Okay. So I've been working on that periodically. I've done a couple of the Wrathborns for the High Celebrant just so I can have a chance at getting the ship. I haven't actually done the Hawkmoon since reset, which I would like to actually run at some point for the feathers, because that also rewards your reward as a ship for that as well.
And a slightly different path and a slightly different boss at the very end.
What?
You didn't hear about that?
I mean, I thought it was different. I didn't know it was a different path. I heard something about the mechanics were a little bit different.
Yeah, and the last area, the caves area, the path is a little different.
Interesting.
And
all right, so are we doing that on PC or PS4 after this?
Oh, I don't care. I'm down. Let's do it.
Sounds like PS4. Des, make sure you're logged in. We're doing this.
He's like, I've already done it.
Probably.
Actually, I haven't.
Okay, well, there we go. We did that last week, too, didn't we? Right before the podcast, though, I feel like. That's funny.
Yeah, I think it was right before.
Well,
yeah, I've
done it this week.
Between that and Genshin, so.
I want to say in the room before the
Lake of Shadows room,
the Lake of Shadows room. I want to say that was a slightly different too, but I'm not 100% sure because I haven't done enough to know what that layout's like. But definitely after that, well, no, the feathers are in different locations too, so that of course is different. And and then leading up, it's all in those caves, which I was running with Helios, and he was telling us how he'd been super exploring that area before anyways. I guess I never went through the hassle of doing that, but the path is not that much different. It obviously ultimately leads you to that same room, but it's like a slightly different way of going there this week, especially if you want to get the feathers. And then it's the boss where it's the captain, I think, but the one where you throw the balls at it, kind of like the original mission.
Yeah.
As opposed to the knight.
Interesting.
And then we were speculating, is this going to be going on for a while? Helios thinks there's only going to be 2 variations because there's nowhere else in the caves a different way you can go. I was saying, well, I mean, 3 makes sense. Bungie often does groupings of 3, right? 3 variations or whatever. So who knows? We'll see next week. Of course, next week is our last week also for this season. Oh my gosh. And we know now that we are getting a trailer for the next season on Tuesday.
Interesting.
Yep.
You may or may not hear this before, depending on when we edit it. But if this
my
podcast
goal
is
is
out after
this week,
if we're right on, so hopefully it'll be a cool trailer, and we'll all be kind of talking about it in the Discord.
I'm sure
for
we
season
will.
Of the Redacted. That's all they're telling us so far.
Well, I think I saw rumors of what the actual next season is called.
Oh, what it's called?
Yes.
Did you tell?
Was it a spoiler?
No, I don't care about a name. I don't know. Des, do you?
I mean, a name can still be very misleading, though. So, I mean, just because we know the name doesn't mean we'll know everything.
I know, right?
Sounds like some Shakespeare play. What is in a name or something?
What a rose known by any other name will
because
be just a sweet or whatever.
Yeah, you got it.
I agree, Des, because also people were speculating it's going to be Cabal themed. I'm like, okay, why do we care, really? It doesn't really tell us anything.
I know.
But anyways, go ahead, Zen.
I believe it's called, or from what I've heard, Season of the Chosen.
Haven't we already had that one?
No.
Sounds familiar either way.
Well, we had Season of the Worthy, so...
Yes.
Okay, well, that's...
Interesting.
Yeah, curious. And of course, rumors are that I guess we're... because I think I've seen rumors that, we're going to get the darkness rates this season, which, you know... they've... okay, that's Raid Secrets going wild. 90%, like... 80% of the time, Raid Secrets can lead to like some really thoughtful discussion. But then there's this like the Spinfoil Hat Theory guys.
Yeah.
That have been talking about the coming of the Darkness race since, from what I can tell, Shadowkeep.
Oh, well, I know one really interesting thing, and I won't give too many details. I watched a video. Yeah, it may have been posted in our Discord too. Maybe Sin did it. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's coming this next season. It could be something that's just an asset that they were planning or whatever. But yeah, there's that lost sector. I guess someone glitched in, or not lost sector, just some area on the Dreaming City that someone glitched into.
Yeah, and it's weird how things run wild because again, it's like nobody learned from the Basketball Court of Orcs.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. Or the secret chest in Vault of Glass.
I know, because Bungie has stated themselves, just because it's there doesn't mean it's definitely going to be something that's going to be used.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's an asset that's hidden deep in the Dreaming City, like really deep. It's freaking like for some people, I would definitely suggest to watch it because it's crazy. Like the steps this person had to go through just to find it.
Yeah.
But
And it's a moving thing that hints to something about the darkness.
yeah, so I
Maybe we
mean,
should
it's,
keep it a little
I know what
vague
you're
if people
talking
want to
about
watch
now.
the video.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that was a. I think I remember that one now. Yes.
I mean, I guess it seems cool if it comes to pass, but at the same time, that seems a little boring too. If that's something that we may be interacting with or fighting,
You think it would be boring interacting with the darkness or fighting
that instance
the
of
Phantom?
it? Did you watch the video?
Yeah, I mean there wasn't anything going on, but a lot of times when you glitch in, you're talking about the one where they glitched in the Ascendant Realm in the Dreaming City, right?
Yes, and there was that moving quote darkness thing.
Yes, I mean that's the problem when you glitch into areas. They may not always interact how they normally would.
Oh, I know. And that's why I was saying if that's the instance, but you're thinking it would change to something else. That's just like a form or.
Yeah, that's probably just a pre-form of it. I'm sure that if it is an actual enemy type or something we can interact with, that it probably will move a little bit differently when it's all said and done.
Yeah. Well, and that all goes back to what Des was saying too. Like this doesn't really tell us anything. It can be like 100 steps away from anything that actually will come to pass.
Yeah.
then personally, I don't think we're actually going to come across a darkness race, as it were. Because, I mean, the beings that we know as, like, darkness, light, sky, deep, these are, like, singular entities that have existed. I don't think they have a quote-unquote race to represent them.
Yeah.
That could be as well.
Well, while we're talking about some of the news, let's go through the twab, might as well. And then I have a quick topic at the end I wanted to discuss, but let's pull this up.
Yes, we've got some bad news for Gator.
I know they've talked about it on their show, and it hasn't come out yet, so it'd be interesting to see how they all feel about it. But
I'm expecting a couple rants.
Oh, of course, in some way, one way or another. I don't even.
How could they do this? Bounties are like the only reason to log into Destiny. No, sorry. Still love you though.
All right, seasonal challenges. I haven't 100% digested all this. I don't know if you have LDRs or if you want to read through the list, Des, but I'm cautiously optimistic and excited about this idea from what I have read over.
TLDR, every week for 10 weeks of a season, they will be releasing a number of challenges. I think they said that it can range from like 3 to 6 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it will be a number of challenges that you can complete. Like every week, there will be a new set of challenges to come out that you can complete within the week. They are account bound. They will give you bright dust for completion. But it will only be for the first 10 weeks of a season that they will be released, because they're going to give you the last 3 weeks of a season to just finish them all out, basically.
Yeah, and didn't they say something like you don't have to finish each? They unlock each week, but they keep staying available. You don't have to finish.
Yes, they are persistent,
but you can always go back to complete.
Yeah. They are persistent challenges. Once they pop in, they stay there, and then you have an extra 3 weeks. Yeah, and then you have that extra 3 weeks at the end to finish out, where no more will pop in, but you still have that 3-week window to catch up on any you haven't already done.
Okay, and was it just Bright Dust? I'm trying to pull up here. Certainly, they also give XP and other things.
Yes. Okay. Bright Dust XP for sure, since they are replacing the weekly bounties.
Yeah,
but they are at the very least, and some, like, they have mentioned some challenges will have like rewards attached to them, like potentially like seasonal items, like I think Ghosts and Sparrow type stuff. I think.
Here comes the West.
This is right. I can't remember exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that. Triumphs have had that forever, right? Some
Right.
or ghosts you can only get for passing a triumph.
And actually, those, if I remember reading correctly, those that have things attached to that you can claim them won't disappear at the end of a season.
Okay.
They'll actually still let you claim them and get the stuff before it vanishes, basically, if I remember reading right. I mean, I don't think you can actually complete them past season, but if you have them complete and like forgot to turn it in,
yeah,
you can still do that.
Yeah,
well, I can't find the exact where.
But Bright Dust, the main point is, we kind of knew that at least some weekly bounties were going away. And then we'd heard through previous sources that Bright Dust will be going, because, weekly bounties were the biggest source of Bright Dust, other than the new thing they just added into the season's pass of getting Bright Dust also. But it was basically weekly bounties. But they are now in these weekly challenges in the Triumph screen, and they will give us Bright Dust.
Yes, which they do make a statement that roughly 60% of seasonal challenges will not require the season pass.
I do remember reading something about that.
So, so even if you don't have season pass, you'll still be able to complete a good portion of these seasonal challenges and still get some Bright Dust out of it.
Well, maybe you should just read. They have a good list at the end of all the total Bright Dust sources and the grand total or whatever. It seems like quite a bit.
See, over the course of... Okay, so basically, one thing I do want to... Because, there's mentioned the weekly Ritual Vendor Challenge Bright Dust for all players, and it's going to be 120 Bright Dust per Ritual Vendor, per character, per week.
Okay.
Totaling out 14,040.
A lot.
Which, it is a lot when you break it down like that, but also considering currently, per Ritual Vendor, but currently right now, a weekly bounty will give you 100 Bright Dust per. So we are missing out on some, but again, like they said, this is more about like either people that only have one character or people that only play one character mainly will still see more of a benefit and more of a increase in Bright Dust from this kind of system.
Yeah, so this could be for someone who's only looking at this category, because there's other categories of Bright Dust also. This could be less potentially for some people, but probably for most people.
Yeah, just from the replacement of the weekly bounties, there will be, for the hardcore people that complete weekly bounties on all three of your characters, like all weekly bounties, you're not going to see as much Bright Dust anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not going to be that much. But the good news is, Bungie did say that Bright Dust is coming to the refreshable bounties. I forget exactly what they call those.
Oh yeah, I like that term. That sounds good to me. The repeatable.
I know.
The repeatable.
Yeah, repeatable. There we go.
Refreshable. I like that better.
Refreshable. I know, right? Like what the crap. So the repeatable bounties will start giving Bright Dust. I'm assuming kind of like because they did that for this past Dawning event, to where the repeatables actually gave you 10 Bright Dust. So it's not a lot, but also at the same time, considering that they don't require a lot of time usually, you can still pop out a whole bunch of repeatables and still come out on the end. But so basically 14,040 from the weekly challenges, 10,500 from the season pass, and that's the weekly. You see, okay. So the weekly Ritual Vendor Challenge. See, this is worded a little weird, but then there's the seasonal challenges, which definitely do give 10,000 Bright Dust. The season pass Bright Dust is another 10,500, and then the 14,000 from Weekly Ritual Vendor Challenge.
Yeah, because there's also, if you read a paragraph up, each weekly ritual bounty says will be between 75 and 300 bright dust. That's what I'm not sure how that.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that's the seasonal challenges bright dust for sure. Or
Yeah.
I thought I knew, but then reading more, it's like, wait, what? So I don't know.
Well, that's maybe why we can focus on these numbers down below. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm trying now. The numbers seem to have confused me.
I mean, I know, right? But then they kind of break at the very end. They break it into the three categories. Seasonal challenges.
Yeah, but I'm guessing it's the 10,000.
Yes, 10,000 for seasonal challenges total. The free,
which that would make sense because they said roughly 60% will be completable even without a season pass. So the free seasonal will be 6,000. Yep. And when you have a season pass, that's an extra 4,000. So yeah, that's
10,000 total. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, there's 13 weeks in the season then. I mean, assuming that they're going forward with 13 weeks in the season, considering they said the 10 and the 3 weeks before. I'm not incredibly sure if that's
that many weeks.
So, for one character, completing as our current sources of bright dust, because we have like what 34,000, about 35,000 bright dust, roughly, coming to us with this seasonal plan, a season.
Mm-hmm.
Blah blah blah. If I can find anything on this phone, there it is. All right, so for each weekly, that's 600 bright dust. By doing all weekly bounties on a single vendor. So that's one character. So multiply that by 13. That's 7,800 for one character for doing all of your weekly bounties.
Okay.
Over a course of a season. So actually, if we just go off of the seasonal challenges, that's at least 2,000 more bright dust from just one character. But of course, multiply that by 3 and we get 23,400, which if you have 3 characters and you're running them actively, well, let's see, just from, because I don't want to count the season pass bright dust because we have that now.
Yeah, we have that now. But if you add the 10,000 plus the 14,
exactly.
So
actually, from those numbers, just from those two numbers, we will still, even with 3 characters, you'll get about 1,000 more bright dust. Just with these basic numbers. So yeah, it's actually going to benefit everybody and be a little bit easier, it sounds like.
Well, exactly. Easier. See, I hate, even with the bounties, now we can, pick them up in Orbit or on our app or whatever. That's nice and all. But for some reason, I love the idea of this way more. It appeals to me. I've always liked the Triumph screen. Once I reach 100 level season pass, I never pick up bounties, hardly ever, because they just don't appeal to me. But this will give me something to do because it'll give you multiple rewards on a account-based tracking progress. And I really like that. Now, the season pass bright dust, do you know how much we got this season? Is that staying the same, 10,000?
That sounds the same.
Okay.
I think we got 10,000. Definitely sounds about right. Someone can, of course,
7,500, but I could be wrong.
Okay, so
free and 3,000 paid is what they're doing for next season. I don't know what they did this season. Anyways, add all these up.
Like I said, it sounds about right. Which, like I said, that's why I didn't include that with the calculations because that sounds about right. That might be an increase, but I'm actually shocked that the math plays out in the favor of this new model. Actually, I'm kind of shocked.
I'm kind of shocked too, but it also shows good faith that they're not trying to totally pull one over on us now. This benefits all of us, especially if there's a lot of good things to buy in the store. This season, I maybe have spent. I should have done some research, but maybe for next week. But I bought 2 or 3 things, but they were all not too expensive, and I'm currently sitting at 12,500 bright dust. I'd have to say most of the things I bought, I felt like they were smaller things, like around 1,500 or something like that bright dust at most.
Actually, I've bought kind of a lot for Bright Dust. And I don't, well, not a lot, but a few big things, like a couple exotic emotes that I was missing from
Yes.
collection, a couple of ornaments or two, maybe. And I always get shaders, and I still have like 5,000 Bright Dust.
Yeah.
So, it's not a lot, sure, but I never had a lot of Bright Dust to begin with. I think to start the season, I only had like maybe 3 or 4.
Oh, so you're actually up overall.
Yeah, I'm up, and I've bought because I definitely bought the DJ emote for sure.
Oh,
100%
yeah. I
bought
did that
that.
too. How much was that? Do you remember? Because I for sure got that, of course.
Almost 3,000.
Okay, so that was probably my most expensive one.
Yeah, and then I bought
Did you get Ace
a
Ventura?
weapon order.
The one where he's got the
no.
2-2? Oh.
No. I've been debating that, but I'm down to 5,000, so I'm like, I don't know.
I'm passing on that.
I've been super tempted. I've been super tempted though.
Yeah. It's fun, I'm sure, for a lot of people, but just doesn't appeal to me as much. Yeah, I know it's there, and then what's next week if there's anything I'm missing out on? Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. I can't see any big problems with the system right now. Of course, we'll see when it starts if some of these weekly challengers are pretty intense, and then we find ourselves getting already like way backlogged even just a few weeks in. We're like, oh, this is going to be hard to finish them all by the end of the season. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, we'll see the actual work involved in them, but like I said, just in the fact that they're going to be there and B, account based, I mean, that just automatically kind of makes them easier by default. I mean, regardless of difficulty of them, it's not something that you have to go and, like you said, actively go pick up and make sure it's you're on the character you got it on and such.
This really, I think, for me, will get me to do things each week. It's like you're already it's like, okay, why are we logging in this week? Is there some new mission, some new thing? Even if there's some new Crystal mode. It's like Iron Banner this week or Mayhem. But this, to me, I mean, especially once I've power leveled up, I'm like, none of the weeklies are interesting to me. But if I have a weekly goal that's in the triumphs area that says actually do 5 strikes with killing so many enemies per strike or something, then that appeals to me actually, even though strikes are kind of boring in general, So I don't know. I think this could be a really good thing for me.
Yeah. And it does give a leeway system to people that might have to take breaks, because like one example that they give, if a player doesn't play for weeks 2 through 4, they can return on week 5 and have all of those challenges from 2 through 4 plus week 5 still available to be completed.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't actually have to feel pressure to actually log in every week or log in, if you need a break, this actually more easily facilitates that. And then you can hop back in, and sure, you might be on a slight back step, but you still have a chance of completion.
With the way I multitask things, it would definitely fit my play style.
Yeah.
The weekly scanner thing, since I have missed out a couple times on it, I'm behind on doing that, and I need one more augment for my title, for this Beyond Light title. So not having that, I think having that where you can go back and complete it as a weekly challenge is good, and you don't have to worry about it. I think they're right. It does help curb some of that FOMO. So I'm excited to see how it plays out, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting because, they give some examples like defeating Primeval Envoys in Gambit, defeating enemies in the Ordeal, gaining Infamy or Valor ranks, acquiring the Ritual Weapon and its ornaments, winning rounds and trials, and completing Grandmaster Nightfall. So, some of those are definitely up there, but also at the same time, kind of like you said, Kingsley, it does start to give some incentive because, the thing in the past is there's kind of no reason to do a Grandmaster Nightfall. Well,
yeah. There's lots of reasons,
a little
people, but not for me yet. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, put a little hefty sum of Bright Dust in there, and it could be a temptation at least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. just the idea of like, again, for me, and I don't even hit every single Triumph as much as I could or want to, but Triumphs do generally appeal to me. So having this in here as a challenge on the Triumph screen, and it works for me. So
yep.
I'll
Agreed.
be going through that list, and I'm sure there's going to be, the sites are going to have nice little checklists too. Like, okay, I'm logging in this week. What have I not done? And just pull it up on some website as opposed to in the game, and just keep track of it. It'll be nice.
Pre-plan and
yep.
map out before you even log in. I need to do this, and this.
I know. We're going to get sent even more like, oh, hold on, guys. I'm having to grenade these guys in the back before we move on. Part of my challenge. Oh, would they have any raid? I wish. And so that's part of my discussion later, but that'd be nice if there's some raid things in here too. We'll see. Maybe there is. They kind of like grayed out they blurred out some of the things they didn't want us to see.
Yeah, a couple on that.
But I have a feeling there won't be any raid ones.
They might keep them separate, especially for like a raid title, or people that couldn't normally raid.
Yeah, but then 6. I've done all the raid ones except for but I mean, it would just be nice if there was also, I don't know,
you've done flawless.
Some more raid ones coming up this next season.
Did you say you've done flawless?
Yeah, that's the one that I didn't do. Yeah. So except for that one, but yep.
Same with me on that one.
Yeah.
One day. We're not scrubs.
Actually, yeah, hilariously, I think our raid group has joked around in the fact, considering we just recently, I think it was our Wednesday run, we finally got like a 45-minute completion on Deepstone. So nice. It's like we joked around, it's like we're probably going to like accidentally flawless this raid eventually.
Yeah.
It's like just without even trying. We're just going to go through, and it's just going to proc. We're going to go, what?
That's the way to do it with this one, because there's no reason otherwise, because it's not in the title. The amount of Triumph points it gives you is pitifully low, and there's no emblem either, right? That'd be pretty cool if there was an emblem for it.
Is there not?
I don't think there is.
I don't think so.
That would be super weird. Because usually they at least give you an emblem to show off.
Yeah. I'll tell you here real quick. Complete all the encounters in Deep Stone Crypt without any member of your fire team dying. Mm-hmm. You get a shader.
Okay. That's still a thing.
Yeah, it is. With billions of shaders out there, is anyone even going to... I would rather...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as a show-off piece, I would probably rather an emblem, but, I mean, a shader is something.
Yeah, that's true. And then what was do you have the points in? It was like something pitifully low.
Probably 50 or 100.
Yeah.
Let me research assistant it up for you.
All right.
Got 5. It's a 5 score. So now,
oh God!
Better get on that.
If it happens automatically, and you just go with it,
right? Don't argue. Just take it and go.
All right, let's talk briefly about sandbox changes. This, of course, has caused some brouhaha. I think some people have calmed down a little bit because TLDR, it's 20%. That may not make a huge difference. Of course, if it doesn't,
it won't.
Then what's the point, really, of them doing anything? They're just kind of upsetting people. I almost feel like they should have not even really said much, and then, I don't know, or bring it out in the patch notes when the update goes live just as a line item, and then people can try it right away and say, oh, it's not a big deal,
If it's...
We better back up. Okay, so on M&K, on mouse and keyboard, on PC, right now, several weapon archetypes, not all, and we'll go through the list, but basically when you're using mouse and keyboard, the recoil has actually been reduced by about 40%, so you don't feel recoil as much when playing on mouse and keyboard on PC. And this applies to auto rifles, scout rifles, pulse rifles, submachine guns. That one may have the biggest effect, actually, hand cannons and machine guns. anyways, they are changing it. They say in preparation for crossplay coming later this year, they're going to change for this upcoming season 20% more recoil. It's kind of funny the wording they're using, but more recoil basically for mouse and keyboard, 20% more. So instead of 40% reduction, it's only going to be a 20% reduction of a recoil.
No, it's not going to be a huge thing. Anyone that's actually gotten comfortable with mouse and keyboard will need to relearn how to hold your weapon, for sure. It's going to be a rough few days.
But you'll figure
it's
it
only
out.
it's only going to be a few days. It's not going to be something super drastic. You're not going to be able to... It's not, it's the end of the world, might as well pick up a controller again and get the aim assist back. And people
some
need
people have
to
joked
just
about
chill
that.
out.
Of course, I'm lucky I won't have to worry about it because I've always been playing on controller and it's staying the same on PC. But
yeah, I mean...
I kind of still also wonder, though, why are they doing this? Because it's not... they're not going to bring it exactly in line with controller, so why cause all this brouhaha? Are they just saying, well, it's close enough, so it'll be more fair? I don't know why they're even...
Actually, it's pretty much exactly that, because my fear is in the fact that they're changing recoil, because it's super easy to hold a gun on PC. I mean, you watch Destiny YouTube clips
mouse,
from PC players, you can tell, like, our rifles just don't kick. They just don't.
Submachines. Oh, yeah, I've done a little bit, and it is nice. Even though I suck with the movement on the keyboard, the mouse is like spot on when aiming.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain weapons...
you're just right on.
Yeah, and in fact, you listen to, like, people like Fallout and, the quote-unquote crucible scientists. They will tell you, don't worry about stability on mouse and keyboard. Put more of your stuff into range. It's more effective. So, I mean, there's a clear divide. Because there's no aim assist on mouse and keyboard, they give you... I mean, that was the give and take. But it's not an exact give and take.
Yeah.
So they're adding...
That confuses me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think they're adding the 20% back, because what scares me... And I read in, like, some article, I think it wasn't Kotaku, but it was another one of those, like, it was a lesser-known site that I just noticed an article, and it's like, what's this? But it does worry me that they're doing this change because they're not going to separate crossplay by input type.
Mm-hmm.
That's my worry.
So how does Fortnite do it?
I don't know how Fortnite does. I don't play Fortnite. Go away.
I know they do it, and I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I thought they only did it by
platform.
Platform. Also, I don't know any place that does it by input type. Maybe I'm wrong.
Pretty much all high-res games do it by input type. You can either crossplay with people by controller or crossplay with people using anything on console.
This whole crossplay thing, I just feel like people just need to get past it, because already on PC, you've had people playing. I mean, most people don't, but if you have a crappy rig, from 30 frames all the way up to 2 billion frames, right? On PC, depending on what your rig is. And so there's already had that quote unfairness, and you've already had on PC people playing on controller versus mouse and keyboard. And you don't really complain about it. You just, if you're in the PC world, you're just like, if I want to play differently, I play mouse and keyboard. I don't care. I play controller and I just live with it.
Yeah, that's the difference, though. You have a choice on PC.
Yeah.
Those of us on console, there's no choice.
Yeah, and then that brings up a point, too. Some people were wondering, could PlayStation 5 and Xbox have mouse and keyboard input for the people that really want it?
They don't. Sony and Microsoft don't need to implement mouse and keyboard support.
Mm-hmm.
There's a game on PS4 and potentially PS3 that has mouse and keyboard support. It's a little title called Final Fantasy XIV. You can legitimately plug in any standard USB keyboard and mouse and use it fully functioning in that game. So it's not something that Microsoft or Sony has to do. It's something that could be done per developer.
Yeah. It could be done per developer. That's good point. I kind of knew that without saying that out loud. Another interesting thing is PlayStation 4 people are already playing against PlayStation 5 people, 30 frames versus 120.
Yeah, frames don't matter. Frames don't matter. Wide of field of view doesn't matter as much. I know,
but it can
know that
small amounts, and then people haven't been complaining about that. Have I been hearing PlayStation 4 people saying it's unfair because the PlayStation 5 people? I know I haven't been hearing that. So what I'm saying, my point's more like,
but you're not arguing different frame rates here.
Uh-oh.
Oops, are you there? Uh-oh. And then, Craig's still here. Just
yes.
There you are. Hello?
That moment where your finger reaches around and hits the red button.
You're not arguing different frame rates, and then you cut out right there.
Yeah. Right.
And then you gave your computer a reach around. That's all I heard.
Right? Whew, fun times. All right.
Oh man.
Breaking
because I mean, again, I have experience with different frame rates though, and playing, because Last of Us, the original, when it was remade for PlayStation 4, you can choose between 60 and 30 frames per second on the remastered edition, like just freely in the middle of a match. Even you can go from 60 to 30, which, yes, there's a difference, but it's not that huge of an advantage, though. I mean, it doesn't need a workaround. It's not like the differences in a controller, in a input type. I mean, that can be, it can be drastic.
You're right,
and it can be rough.
But I also feel like people aren't seeing the whole picture. The people, they're just complaining for complaining's sake. If you're complaining for good reason, which you're giving good reason, some of the people have done research. But again, we may not know what 20% will ultimately be like. It may not be that big of a deal. Like you said, it'll take a day or two, right? Who knows?
It will. Like if people are actually worth a crap with their mouse and keyboard, like they say, like a few people a couple months ago have said, then there's no worries. You're going to get used to it quicker than what a lot of these Destiny players going to PC now. It'll be faster than what you got used to it like the first time around. I mean, but I'm seeing like a lot of, because apparently you're seeing different complaints than I'm seeing. And well, I haven't really seen complaints because I don't fall for that clickbait.
No, I haven't really seen complaints. That's my point. I'm going to laugh.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'm going to laugh when crossplay comes up and then they start complaining about the frame thing. I'm like, wait, don't you know you were already playing against 120 frames with PS5 players?
Yeah, not right.
So that was kind of my point. I don't know. Maybe it was a weird side point, but people just need. I guess my point was, try not to worry about it. There's going to be a wide range of. There's already a wide range of skill players. What are we supposed to say? Oh, we can only play with people in my skill. I mean, I guess that comes to skill-based matchmaking.
Skill-based matchmaking, which I freaking love.
Okay, but you see what I'm saying. Like, there's always things that, so people shouldn't worry so much about in theory, I'll see when it comes, but people shouldn't worry about the frames or the input against different types. Now, are we to assume, though, they may still have some control built in that people can say don't play against certain players?
Usually for crossplay, you can disable crossplay. Usually.
Yeah.
So there is that as a backup. I'm hoping that because there's a few games out there that do it by input type. I don't know about Fortnite because I really don't play Fortnite, but I'm wanting to say, like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to speak on Fortnite. Like I said, I play many games that do it by input type, to where you can limit your crossplay, with people with controllers. So that means You can hook up with people on a PC using a controller. You can hook up with people on Xbox while you're on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. The bigger worry here isn't even like controller types like input types versus input types. The bigger worry is the other part of the PC community that gets a lot of attention. People that can fly in the Crucible at like 1,000,000 miles an hour into walls and still win matches. Those guys. Not to be confused with that guy, but those guys.
That guy?
I'm already confused.
Exactly.
Well, Bungie taketh and they giveth too. One really cool thing that they said is, regardless of this, we will also be introducing some buffs. And one of the things they're doing is reducing camera movement.
Yes.
From submachine guns by 24%. That could be huge. And this is across the board for
it's going to be pretty massive, actually.
And mouse and keyboard. And this will be nice. Hopefully, it'll be season of the submachine gun next season because I always like them in theory. But they
do kick a lot, and it feels like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you see, and here's the thing with camera shake too, because Hardlight actually has like amazing stability and recoil direction, but it still seems like it shakes like nobody's business because of its camera shake. But it has amazing stability and like almost perfect recoil direction. It doesn't really go anywhere.
And then the camera
But that camera shake,
yeah.
Makes it feel like it has awful stability.
Pulses and machine guns are getting a slight buff, 7 and 9.5% respectively. But here's interesting. Rocket launcher buff damage by 30%.
Anybody want to say Gallorn's coming back now?
Well, this is all rocket launchers. This is the.
I know, but I'm saying it'll be a good opportunity for them to introduce it again.
Cluster bombs are back on Riven. Let's go.
Because also down further, sword nerf. Alert.
Pretty massive, but
15%.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
But it can make
poor guillotine.
It
will.
It'll make a difference whether or not we're going to use it in these raid encounters.
Mm-hmm.
No, you still can for sure. It's no problem.
Yeah, well, we'll just see. Like, there might be the rocket launcher strat might be easier again than the sword strat for Riven.
Oh, for Riven? Yeah. Potentially. But on something more modern like DSC, trust me, Limit's still going to be amazing in second encounter.
Oh yeah.
It'll probably be just a little more difficult to one phase it with Lament. That's it. No big deal. No worries. Besides, if you have a good raid team anyway, you can do it in more than one phase. Just saying.
Yeah. Fusion rifle usage is low, and we feel like an unreliable choice compared to shotguns. Yes.
Well,
okay, so increased fusion rifle damage fall off. People can get mad. No. Distance based on range stat. 6% with 0 range, 16% with 100 range, and reduced camera movement firing. See, this never bugged me as much, but still, this will be good. Reduced camera movement by 9.5%. So, fusion rifles will be more stable at further distances and can make the difference between...
Well, yeah, we'll keep its damage further as well, which is going to be pretty massive.
Yeah.
Rise of the Aerentel again.
Mm-hmm. Or
I was just thinking Telesto. Kingsley will still be...
No.
Telesto doesn't... Telesto doesn't even have damage fall off. Sin, do you play this game?
I know what you're getting at, Sin. Yeah, Sin, I don't even use Telesto in Crucible. I used Aerentel before and now Glacial Chasm, but whatever the new hotness is, if they introduce a new one next season too, I'll look into that. Which I assume they might, especially with... It's always surprising if they talk about these buffs and there's not some new weapon to take advantage of.
Oh, but guys, the best buff yet is coming up next. The best buff ever. It's going to make a... It's going to make or break you. A guaranteed. Breach grenade launchers will be able to detonate on impact.
That is huge, actually. Okay. Thanks because I did not read that line. That is huge. Jeez.
That's only kind of huge. That's huge if you're good with breech-loaded grenade launchers and can hit someone direct in the Crucible with one, then yes, that's going to be huge.
I'm better with that than the trigger thing. So they say, yeah, it'll detonate even if you're holding the trigger.
Yes.
See, when I was using things like Fighting Line or other ones, I can almost always hit the shot. It's the explosion thing that I don't always get right. So this will be huge for me.
Yeah, it's because I've had like the inverse problem where I sometimes don't hold the trigger for long enough, but it doesn't explode when I let go of the trigger, so it just explodes whenever the crap it feels like, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you get a direct hit with a breech-loaded grenade launcher, it will just detonate.
Season of the grenade launchers.
So
breach grenade launchers.
Those people that have been practicing with their fighting lines and such, rejoice. The rest of us, don't pick it up. It's not going to be worth it. If you sucked with breech loaders before, you're probably still going to suck. Like me. I suck with them. I mean, I'm awful. Get me to hit something.
You gotta just hit your arc.
You see, that's why I was good with Mountaintop. Like, I didn't even use the cheesy crap of like shooting people around corners and like using its in-air accuracy. I was shooting people out of the air like they were clay pigeons.
Nice.
They'd jump at me and just dead. You ask Gorilla Golf. I was like, when I was on with Mountaintop, it was dirty, but it was also rare. So
I can't remember. I used a breach in Crucible a few times. I think Trials not way back, but maybe early this season or late last season. I can't remember when it was. But I ended up doing okay with it. I'm not fantastic with it by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm kind of curious to see how this will actually change this upcoming season.
Yeah, there's definitely some fun things to play with here. And nerfs, sniper rifles, increased ADS flinch when taking damage from other players. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
finally,
snipe dudes will not like this, but
stop hard scoping then, Jesus.
Exactly.
Or
you have to get the first shot, otherwise just run.
Yeah. Because there's been so many times, like especially recently in PvP, I'll see the glint, but I'll get like a burst of a pulse rifle off on them, and they're still taking my head off, and I'm just like, excuse me, Bungie, this doesn't seem very fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm crazy enough to challenge a sniper rifle with a primary. I realize there's some consequences there, but if you're going to take a full round of a pulse rifle with no flinch, excuse me.
For shame.
For shame.
I should have a slight fighting chance for my craziness.
Only slight?
Slight. I mean, I don't expect to win sniper engagements when I use a primary. I'm hype when I do. But that doesn't mean I'm expecting it. I'm a realist after all, okay? I mean, come on.
And they mentioned some exotic changes, mostly like some bug things that are being fixed.
I like how they worded the first one. It's like where they make mentions like some exotic weapons lose their buff when you switch weapons. Yeah. That's intended. Yes, they would also lose their buffs when pulling out your ghost, which is not.
Yeah. Jeez, I don't even know if I would have even noticed that.
Right.
Teraba being one of them, Ace of Spades and Hawkmoon, but whatever.
I am super stoked for the Borealis and Hardlight custom animation for switching element types. Because if that's shorter than a reload animation, that's just going to be so much better.
That is true.
Oh god, and duality buffs. Like that might actually make it something.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. Duality.
Yeah, that because they're going to be pushing out its damage fall off by 1.25 meters. Do you know how huge that is for shotgun? That's massive.
So the shotgunners can have something that they won't be as mad about with the fusion.
Well, I mean,
or an alternative to Hellwinters.
Yeah,
everybody's using.
well, no. Spell Witchers is still going to be dominant. Because here's the thing with duality. Duality doesn't gain the benefit of a predictable shot package. Because you have to hit fire just to get pellets, so the cone was everywhere anyway. And it was only kind of subpar as a slug shotgun. I mean, any slug shotgun can basically do the job of duality. But with this range push out, this actually makes it a fairly competitive option on somewhat both ends. Because you can fight other shotgunners with the slug variant. And I think the only thing that can really be able to fight back with it at that point in time is going to be Chaperone. And then for pretty much everything else, or close quarters encounters, you can just hip fire for the massive, pellet spread. So it's the people are going to be nasty with it, for sure.
I still don't know about the shotgun world, so that's good to hear.
Because this puts duality in a very interesting spot now, to where it can potentially, because I mean, with the catalyst, it gets a massive range as is, so it pretty much pushes out to the upper limits of slug shotgun range. But again, pretty much any legendary slug shotgun with massive range will be able to do the same thing. But now with this particular tuning, it's going to be worth it, basically. Because like I said, you'll be able to... Chaperone will probably still win out, because I think it gets an extra meter on its range when the perk is active. I'm wanting to say. It might be an extra meter and a half. So with duality, you will actually be able to compete with the Chaperone. Mm-hmm. Somewhat unreliably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still going to have better range, but just barely. So it's basically the difference between... Yeah, it's going to be the same difference between Chaperone and Slug duality as Astral Horizon and Fellwinters. Or Mindbenders and Fellwinters, It's a very minimal difference. Fellwinters is slightly better, but Astral and Mindbenders can still replace it, basically. So it's going to be there, At least that's my prediction.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a meter and a quarter? Holy crap.
All right. Well, there's some more we could go on with bugs and stuff, but
who cares about
interest
bugs?
of time. I know, right? No, I do a lot of times, but
right quick though, Crimson Days is being canned.
Yeah, whatever.
Which
doubles? Bye-bye.
Yeah, doubles is going into the vault. Play your sad violin now. That's about all I have for it. So, yeah.
I still hope. I mean, okay, whatever, they're taking this seasonal event away. I still hope one of the seasonal events coming up throughout this year is going to be slightly different than what they've been every 3 years in the past. Sorry, side point. Okay, we were talking about incentives for doing things. I had a quick main topic this week about raiding incentives, and I want to get all your all's opinions too, because I know that you two will both often raid, just to help people out, like me. We have fun raiding stuff, but not everyone feels that same way. There's incentives to raid anywhere from the most common one, of course, being the hot exotic. It's the Eyes of Tomorrow for Deepstone Crypt, right? That's what one of the biggest things that can get people into the raid. Two, the raid weapons are all pretty good this time. But for a lot of people, once they get the exotic weapon and or the raid weapons, they don't have an incentive to raid. Now, one other thing they added, right, this season was the Spoils of Conquest. So that has really helped, I believe, a lot. Because it could be you got Eyes of Tomorrow, but you still want to raid getting Spoils of Conquest so you can get Anarchy. Let's say you didn't get Anarchy, so there's still incentive that way. So Bungie has definitely made a huge stride this release, even for the older raids, right? You still get the 3 Spoils of Conquest for Garden of Salvation completion, or encounters and Last Wish.
Yeah.
So I want to know if you guys have any opinions. A couple people gave ideas in the Discord too, but what other things Bungie could do to give people incentive to rerun the raids over and over? I mean, as it is, we have 3 raids right now, so if you raid a lot, or even not a lot, there might be less incentive that way. There's less to pick from. But do you have any thoughts on what they could do to have more incentives to get people to play?
I'm slightly skewed in this subject.
I
Considering,
know, I am too, probably.
Yeah, I've always, I mean, good Lord, it's how me and you have met, Kingsley, is because of my Raider preference. I mean, it's, I like to learn them, I like to master them, I like to run them. I will say that Spoils of Conquest this season have really, I wouldn't have been like an active member in a good many of these raids if there wasn't like that for me to buy, like the exotics I either couldn't get or missed for my absence. So yeah, that has like kept me as an active member as much as I can, or else otherwise I probably would have, sought out, put myself as a reserve, and in case nobody else showed up, I'll be there. But no, I want those spoils, so because I want to get these things, so I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be a part of these raids. But I've always been like that. Good Lord, there's been times I ran Vault 6 times a week, just cause.
Well, Sherping is one big thing. I was kind of going to get to that, right? But that has always been one reason why people will come back to raids, right? Because they want to help their friends learn it, right?
Yeah.
We see someone new coming in, like Soccer hasn't run the newest raid yet. Yeah, everyone wants to help them.
Actually, yeah.
So
yeah, and that's
usually... he still hasn't done the raid?
No, he has now. I was just giving that as an example. It was recently, though. We just helped him.
I thought I remember seeing that. But yes, we can call him out if you want.
No, I already did, unfortunately. He has run the raid now.
Good. But yeah, Sherping, I agree, is a good one.
Yeah. That's kind of feedback in. Sherping, anything else you can think of?
I hate to sound corny with it, but I guess raiding is kind of, my friend game, essentially.
Oh, it's true.
Because I like to raid, especially if I know the raiders. Like if I know it's going to be like a pretty chill time, like even if things fail or even if we run our head against a brick wall, we're still going to have a good time. I'll run that raid, and that's kind of like my biggest incentive is like the people I usually run with.
So
the weapons don't hurt. And like I said, there's definitely the carrots on the stick that don't hurt, but it's kind of like it's definitely my more social form of Destiny. Basically, is raiding.
Well, and that's why I wish everyone felt about it too. And then I worry because then some of the people that don't raid as often and they really want the weapon, and then I selfishly worry like I don't want them to get the weapon right away because then they'll stop wanting to get back in the raid. I know it sounds horrible.
We can all agree. We never need, Axe never needs to get Eyes of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
just
he
saying.
doesn't.
Never. Just that way we can actually keep him in a raid.
That is a funny example. I totally know what you're saying.
Right?
Love you, X. Gator just got his Eyes of Tomorrow, so he got it twice in one night.
Oh, wow.
We ran it 3 times because we were also trying to help Laz get it. He hadn't gotten it yet, and we ran on his 3 characters, and Gator got it twice, and Laz didn't get it at all. So I was joking with Gator too, like you better still hop in the raids, not you have Eyes of Tomorrow.
Yeah, he won't.
He won't.
I'm kidding. No, he's got bounties to do, man. He's a busy individual.
Get all those bounties in now.
Well, let me tell you some ideas. Okay, bounties. Wait till you hear some suggestions I have, but I'll give you some ideas that people in the community have said when I posted this question earlier in the day. And Mo said that, I guess year on year, if they change or add cosmetic things to existing raids, that'd be nice. Perhaps alternate versions of raid gear so they'd look a little different. like earlier concept designs or a completely different design that still fits the theme of the raid. Kind of hard, or wouldn't be as fun just chasing 50 to 100 clears of a raid for no reason other than unlocking a unique cosmetic item. It's a hard question to answer, to be honest, but one I look forward to seeing we all discuss. And then he gives an edit, maybe even add a new exotic that fits the mechanic of the raid. That being said, there's enough exotics we don't use. At least this would have a set place to use it. I mean, it's good ideas. Cosmetics, more cosmetics could be one thing.
Yeah, gating an exotic behind doing a crap ton of... I mean, good lord. The raid weapons are RNG enough as it is, and it's probably... I mean, there's a bunch of people that have probably over 50 clears by now that still don't have Eyes of Tomorrow, so...
Oh, I've heard of... Yeah, I think it was Zebrak saying that. Of course,
Ninja Muffin's in that group too, so...
Yeah, of course. 50 isn't totally fair because you only get the 3 chances per week, one on each character, and you may have run it more that week anyways, but still the point's valid.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of clears and not have it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't... I mean, like Divinity, I don't mind it being behind like a hard challenge in the raid, but not just like something exclusively for the raiders, I don't know. But no, I love the idea of like cosmetics, like, what they kind of did in Rise of Iron, when they re-upped the raids and gave them like new fancy cosmetics, like that are raid themed. That would be cool for an incentive for like, clear this raid 50 times for this awesome looking universal ornament set.
Yeah. And that is a more show-offy type thing. I mean, heck, we have that with the yearly summer event, right? With the glowy cracked armor. Why not have a raid higher end version?
Yeah.
You kind of had that with the Prestige when the Prestige raids were around, right? With Leviathan and Eater and all that.
Yeah, you did, and everyone hated Prestige, even though, whatever, I kind of liked it, but...
Luminous is the same thing, basically, aka Wicked. Let's be honest, fashion is the end game, so cosmetics are probably where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. Like, you look at every game that has some kind of cosmetic choice, and it becomes the end game of that game.
Yep. And Gohawk says old raid weapons could now have a chance to drop with newly added perks. And another idea is add new challenges to the old raids. I mean, this kind of goes along with the possibility when we were talking earlier about, these weekly challenges that are going to be coming up next season. It would be nice if there were some raid ones in there, especially if there's something new. I doubt it, but it would be really cool if it was like, one of the weekly challenges is run Deepstone Crypt and I don't know, just do something new, something unique. Yeah. So we have a reason to go in for that. Can you imagine if there was a new one each week, like for 10 weeks? I doubt they put that much time into it, but that would keep us raiding, the whole season.
You'd be excited.
I mean,
yeah, I'm already so excited, Sin. Okay, well, let me tell you a couple ideas I had real quick. XP. I feel like you should get tons and tons of XP for raiding. It's a small thing. It would help people like Gator and other people for one more reason to run a raid, because while we have the season pass bar for what it's worth, why are some activities that take between 1 to 4 hours, however long we're raiding, some end game content that we're putting a lot of time and effort into, why not have it just drop tons of XP?
Yeah, because people like Gator really need more XP for that seasonal bar.
But why not? That seems like such a simple thing they could do, right?
It is, but also at the same time, then you come across more of the complaints of, well, why is there anything past 100? I mean, it's...
Oh, yeah. As a separate point, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely weird. Like, whenever these seasonal events come out, and like the Dawning. You complete like a heroic public event. You get like 15 essences. You run a full raid, you might get 5.
Yeah.
That's like within that line. It seems a little weird, but of course I know that's limited. But I don't like on that end. Raids could probably be a little more rewarding, like instantaneously.
Yeah, and they should do it per encounter, so it's not like you're just hopping in last encounter getting tons of XP. It should be like within the whole Deepstone Crypt raid. Let's say you get, I don't even know what the XP numbers are, so sorry, I don't care about XP. But let's say there's like, this number's probably way off, but 1,000 XP you could get, but it's split up between the encounters.
Yeah.
So just an example. And
yeah,
then,
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I mean, that's all I was going to say about XP. And then I just had one other last quick thing is more emblems. Emblems are one of the easier assets to create in the game. It's a 2D asset. You just need some graphic designer. I know it still takes time, but it's not like some shader that they have to test and make sure it looks okay. It's not like some ornament that's more, three-dimensional, how it looks on the gun and everything. But have more emblems for all sorts of things. Most importantly, Sherpas. Again, like, have some emblems. You've Sherpa'd 50 people through the raid, and then another one you've Sherpa'd 100 people through, or just some variation of it. So it's like purple when you've done 100 and green when you've done 200. You know what I mean? And that would, I think, give a lot of incentive also for some people.
Yeah, I think also potentially like something that just popped into my head, like goofy titles, maybe.
Yeah, titles.
Like, because I keep going back to it because today I fired it back up for the first time in a while. But Paladins, a while back they also introduced titles. Right now the title I rock is Supreme Senpai.
Supreme
Senpai. Don't worry, it's a weeaboo thing. But no, like I said, if they had like some fun titles to earn on like weird, like you said, maybe combine it with the challenge thing, which, I mean, the only thing potentially easier to implement than an emblem is a title.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the words at the bottom of your freaking name.
Yep. Especially if it's just based on one static thing, like how many Sherpas you've done or something.
Exactly. Like, yeah, just have like I say, either attach it to like a weekly challenge where they have like just a giant list of like, just titles you can switch on, or, I mean, yeah. I guess that's my penny in the bucket.
So there's definitely things they could do, but I again want to loop back to the beginning. I think it was excellent. They added Spoils of Conquest in this season. Yes. It gave another big reason. So they are doing something. I still just wish more could be done to really, really have more reasons to incentivize people to do then get content that's there. I mean, sure, they can add more strikes, and they are, and blah, 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 all this stuff. But let's have reasons to, even more reasons to run the raids.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely all down for that. But yeah, and Spoils is definitely like a fantastic thing that they've done. Like, and even because I hear a lot of people say it's like, oh, why get Spoils? I have everything in there. It's like, okay, do you have a God roll heritage? No. You can spend your spoils to find one, like get extra drops. That's what I like about that system.
Yeah, I know. Good. I have good enough, but yeah, I need to probably look for the God.
Oh crap! Yeah. I know. I'm sorry. I had somebody else in mind when I said that, and I just completely forgot. It also applies to you, sort of.
Okay. You want to know how many? I was talking. I don't know if you were in it here the other day, but my inventory is maxed out with 240 spoils, and in my Postmaster, I have an additional 120. So. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely get it from people like that. It's just like I said, there's definitely things you could very easily just. I mean, even if you're not looking for God rolls, just extra potential. Yes, I know, legendary shards. Haha, like you don't have 50 blue million of those anyway.
Too many. Way too many of them.
But yeah, there's still like
50,000.
But yeah, there's still like you can still spend them. You don't have to like just hoard them. You could do something with them, but
Yeah.
or you can just hoard them and delete them. Like throw them in your vault. That'll delete them eventually.
Hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. So there's definitely things to do, and like for those that like haven't like still, maybe you've got an eyes to drop, but you're missing like the helmet in the final encounter. Like 60 spoils will get you like an extra drop from an encounter, like to knock off that list. So I mean, there's more layers to the spoil system than I think a lot of people either talk about or actively think about. Because of course we think about it for getting,
still armor rolls. Yeah,
exactly that too. But yeah, and because what people talk about, of course, is here's my 240 spoils to get this, that, or the other, which I think I'm only 100 away from Teraba, which will be my last piece to get.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, then there's people like me that I'd still need to eventually run more Last Wishes so I can get 1K. I just remembered that.
So don't tell you that I've gotten it 3 times.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, no, I'm completely okay with it.
Warcry got it on his first run.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, come on. I've been raiding since Vault of Glass launched.
Yeah,
I've seen.
Me too. I don't mind when people
I've
run first.
Yeah, I've been a part of first run Mythoclasts. I still never got a Crux from Crota. Never did. Ever. So that sucked. So I didn't get a Necrochasm until they re-released it in Rise of Iron. But yeah, so I mean, I've been, and thanks to Eyes, which I got at second run, I'm part of like I've pretty much been a part of every spectrum of raid drop.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have if we've been around. And I was having this discussion with Gator or someone I don't remember, but I feel like you just need to be chill about it. There are some people that worry a lot, and they're borderline getting like grumpy. And I get it if you're really looking forward to something, but I almost feel like, you know what? You just need to like just not expect it. Just be chill, run it to have fun. And then when you're least expecting it, that's when it'll just come, and then you can have more fun in the game that way.
I think it all started basically because of Vex. Because, it was the raid exotic, and it was legitimately broken. Like, in its initial run. It was absolutely busted. Like, for those of you that don't know, like, find, like, Reddit and forum posts from years ago talking about busted Vex Mythoclast, and it's like, what, 0.3 time to kill, I think it was? It was stupid. So, I mean, so a lot of people wanted Vex, but the bad thing is, even after Vex got nerfed to dirt, people still wanted it. Like, that want was still there, and I think it just kind of carried over. Like, the want for the raid exotic, because this could be the next Vex for, like, the old players. This could be the next busted thing I can play around with. Which, Eyes kind of is, but only kind of.
No, I don't know. It's good and all, but yeah. I don't see. Well, it's mostly like Gambit, but
yeah, it's busted in PvP, but that's kind of just because of how it works.
Yeah, but it's.
I don't know, with a 30% increase in damage, it could be still not worth it in PvE. I mean, it'll probably be more worth it in strikes. I do believe it'll be more of a fun gun.
Yeah.
But Bungie played Eyes smart and giving it like that almost 50% like damage reduced damage against raid bosses. I mean, maybe they were afraid it's going to be the next Gallarhorn, but let's just nip this in the bud and do this for this specific activity, so that way we can design this and it won't be awful.
Yeah.
Which, if that's what they have to do, I'm all down for it. Because again, Eyes is still really fun in strikes. then Gambit, then Crucible.
So, and if we can find you a new job with more time, is that your main incentive to raid more?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent.
A better paying job with less hours.
Then you're like, I'll be all over that every night.
I am sold. I'm 100 right there.
All right.
Right. Isn't that everyone's dream, though? Except for maybe Kingsley and Gator.
Sorry.
I guess I'll decide to go to work at about 8 or 9, maybe. I'll play some Destiny first.
To do. Yeah, at least I don't. You do have to be regimented still. Like, it's very tempting to deal with the small customers, and then they're not important, and then it's more and more get blown off. You're like, wait a second, I'm not making as much money now.
Right.
But yeah. Well, it was a fun discussion. I appreciate it. And if anyone, as always, that was listening to this has additional ideas or do not agree with any of ours, guess where they can, Des, where can they let us know?
You can let us know.
Sun don't shine? No, not that.
Well, we will be happy to shoot down all of your ideas. No, I'm kidding. We listen. Within our Discord is a fantastical place to be. Tons of differing opinions of Guardians, really. Like, we've got some pretty a pretty decent spectrum, I'd say, between like casuals and your hardcores, and then a couple of the super hardcores. Like, why do you still do that hardcore kind of guy? But whatever. But you can find Discord, which can be found from the GuardianHub.com.
Yes, website under the About Us section.
Yeah.
It can be found somewhere on the internet.
I keep forgetting it's .com.
Not
.net. I don't know why.
Not
You see, for some reason, I keep thinking it's like under one of the weird dots, but
hey,
if
you no, I get it, but I would have never done that. I am an old school. It needs to be a .com. I mean, it can be the other ones also. But there's some notoriety that still comes to my mind with the .com. So that's why I did the GuardianHub.com. I would have never had it just been like.
I feel like that might be like .gg might be the new .com. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of newer services are migrating more towards the .ggs.
And you can, but I can always add additional, but I wanted at least the .com. So who knows? Maybe next week we will also have the GuardianHub.gg. If you really want it.
For all you millennials.
These things do cost a little bit of money, so
only a little bit.
Yeah.
Only a little bit, but no worries. You never have to join our Patreon, but we do have one if you want to throw us a little bit of money. It helps pay for our hosting fees, pay for our additional .ggs and .nets and .whatevers.
.hub coming soon.
Yeah, right? So
exclusive. You heard it here first. The Guardian.hub.
So yeah, we do have a few Patreon members, and there is an exclusive Discord channel, which we don't have a lot of discussion there yet because it's a small group of ragtag fellows. But hey,
indeed,
we can talk about what new domain ending you want if you join there.
You could literally talk to us about anything there because
exclusive.
Again, it's a little smaller, so we can see everything.
But don't worry, we're not too exclusive. Just exclusive enough.
Yeah.
In that channel. Oh, riding the line, right?
Right.
A little borderline.
It's not super exclusive, but we are exclusive.
Here's the thing. We just pretend it's exclusive. It's not exclusive at all.
Pretty much, yeah. Right? We tell you it's exclusive, so maybe.
You can pretend it's exclusive also. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, we appreciate everyone who's joined. We had a few new members over the last few weeks, and everyone is welcome to join. And just, if you want to be a lurker, that's great. But feel free and post stuff. I did see some of the newer members, and I wasn't able to join up. I thought I was, but some of the newer members already have been posting some LFG requests, so we appreciate that. That's what the channels are for. So feel free.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. Because again, we have a very large spectrum within the community. I'm not going to say a very large community because I don't think we're super large, but
but
we're
large enough for a large.
Yeah,
spectrum.
we're good size. Yeah, we're good size.
Medium.
Schmedium.
Schmedium.
Yeah, I'd say we're probably about schmedium. But again, it's kind of like I said, it's surprising, like the range of our diversity between the members. It really is, because we have some super hardcore raiders, we've got some super casual raiders, we got a few people that run PvP above pretty much anything else. I mean,
we even allow people in here from other Destiny podcasts.
Indeed.
We do.
Much like our magical 100 or 100.io bot,
yes,
which plugs us directly into the tripod.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I'm still calling it tripod. You can get over it, Gator.
And we want to tell you about one other hub really quick. That hub is the Destiny News Hub.
Not that other hub.
Not the other hub, just the Destiny News Hub. And they post many Destiny articles, including when our podcasts get released, it also gets posted on there. So we definitely have a few hubs combined. That is for sure.
With our hubs combined, we are Captain Planet.
Oh, God.
Well, I think I'm out of jokes, so Sen, you better.
I think that's where we wrap it up. Yeah. I think you can find me over at twitch.tv/SynMedia, Sin SYN, and over on Twitter at Sin_media. Kingsley, tell us another joke and take us out.
You put me on the spot. How many sins would it take to
screw in a light bulb?
Screw in a light bulb. There you go.
We'll leave the answer for next show.
Yeah, we'll leave the answer for next week. Okay. Please let us know. Yeah. Anyways, you can find me as Kingsley Mac in all the places, except for on Twitter. I am MC Kingsley. Des, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DES_Raven, of course. And as always, as previously mentioned, in the Discord, where I also tend to kind of lurk, but we'll definitely hop in for interesting conversation.
Yeah, I think it threw me off when you were going through that the first time. That's why I thought you already did it.
It's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. All's fair in love.
It's
was
fair enough.
Semi-ending, but not an official ending.
Yeah, because I was, building up the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True story.
Because Kingsley put me on the spot about the Discord.
Such a hard topic. Yeah.
Well, it's like, let me cover my bases. Oh, God. Because I'm usually awful at plugs. Oh, God. That's why I don't do them.
Because we're so professional.
I know, right? We are the epitome of professionalism here at the Guardian Hub.
But hey, if you want to be a guest on our show, let us know. Chances are you can get on for a low price of $0. Just message us. No, we actually do have some good guests coming up, and I'm sure we're going to be having lots to talk about. This was a long show again tonight, but we have the new season coming up, so lots of fun stuff coming up. So to have the official... Yeah.
Let's say 'tis the season for slightly longer podcasts. Pun intended.
It is true. I mean, the twabs have added to that. That's, where the last few weeks have been, because there's been things we wanted to talk about, and the twab.
Yeah, because end of season / start of season, I mean, this is the time where we run a little long. Because we have things to talk about, and then we have things to talk about, and hey, here's a twab. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah. And I'm rambling, which is not helping the situation. So Kingsley, please take us out.
I will. I tell people I try to keep it between 1 to 2 hours. That's our average. So, anyways, our official ending, since we were talking about unofficial endings, our official endings is this. You can find us at our lovely website, theguardianhub.com, or on Twitter as The Guardian Hub.
The best hub on the net.
Did I confuse you, Sen? Sometimes I do it in an order.
Yeah, a little bit.
I know.
A little bit off.
I'll do it in the order that you like better. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in this week. Thanks, Des and Sen, for being excellent conversationalists. Is that the word?
Yes.
Sensational.
Yes, sensational. And we will talk to you again next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Later.